Now, last week we talked about payment systems. That's where we started. Then we talked about the history of it, what are the motives of having money. Then we looked into bartering system. Remember, we exchanged goods. At the same time, services can be exchanged. Not only that, in this movie, Apocalypto, one tribe who want to use the area of another tribes as a road, barter with fish. To access your road, I'm paying you. So bartering can be for goods, services, and for many other. Then commodity money. We talked about money that is used for one purpose, that is for the usage, then as a medium of exchange. So any item that can be used for some other purpose while using it for a medium of exchange. Then you knew this why there are ledgers. Then commodity backed to fiat currency. Fiat means legal tendency. So we have only a legal tendency. Once again, let me tell you a story. I told you when you take any currency note, there is a statement. Sri Lanka තුළ ඕනෑම මුදලක් නීතියෙන් ගෙවීමට නීතියෙන් බලංගුය. Means what? This currency note can be used to pay any amount of money in Sri Lanka. It's like this. I give you a loan, 5 million for 1 year. After 1 year, you bring back a lot of money in 20 rupees currency notes and you tell me, here, your 5 million, count and take it. So I don't like to count. So I would say, no, I don't accept. Bring me 5,000 currency note. That moment, it is assumed I have not honored the legal tender. Therefore, it's like you have settled my full amount. This is why we say this legal tender tells you can pay any amount. There's another story, maybe true. Samsung, the mobile phone producer, copied everything from Apple, everything. Swiping, then it's not a square, the edges are cornered. Everything is copied from Apple. The Apple mobile phone, they went to courts and sued against Samsung. Samsung failed the court case. So they have to pay in millions. One day Apple found container loads coming to their premises with smallest coins and currency notes to pay that millions. Means what? There's a fiat. This paper can be used to pay any amount of money. Then we talked about payment systems. Okay. Yeah, now only we are talking about payment systems. Payment system is used to settle financial transactions through monetary value. So the system includes instruments, people, rules, procedures, standards, and technologies that make its exchange possible. I told you when Disneyland started, they were charging very simple amounts, small amounts for each item. For roller coaster, this much of coins. And those days you don't have credit cards. So people, when they want to enjoy one item, they pay in coins. And each 30 minutes, someone is carrying a horse cart or maybe a vehicle and collecting everything in barrels. Then they wait instead of counting. You can think how difficult transaction was, the settlement was. Today, it's not that. Think about the way we get our salaries now. Slips, Sri Lanka, interbank payment system. There was a time when we get salary, an envelope is prepared. Within this envelope, you have all the currencies, including cents, 50 cents, 25 cents, 10 cents, right? And you are given an envelope. So you very carefully look after your envelope. So on your salary date, those days, most of the people use public transport. And on salary date, they are pickpocketers. They know when someone is keeping his hand in or out of the pocket, yes, there is something worth. So things like that. But today it is not the case. Most of the time we don't use physical currency. When we go to restaurants, we pay by credit cards. When we get our salary, we get it by slips. When we want to pay maybe our premiums, insurance premium, we don't use cash. Bank transfers, okay, online banking. When we sell lands and go for big transactions, we may use bank transfers. Things are different. In good old days, you have seen in movies, people are carrying briefcases full of money. That's no more. Right. Travelers, those days they carry travelers checks. Now it's not like that. Okay, so payment systems are improving. The important thing is easiness to do a transaction. That will improve your efficiency. Still, there are some barriers in Sri Lanka, like for Forex. PayPal and other currencies are not much popular. There are areas to improve in Sri Lanka, but basically, we no more depend heavily on physical currency. So the payment system include all these things: the institutions, instruments, people, rules, procedures, standards, and technologies. Then we said within Sri Lanka, the accepted modes of payment: cash, non-cash. So non-cash is becoming very popular. Non-cash, you have two types: document-based, electronic-based. So document-based includes, though you don't use physical currency, you are using a physical piece of paper. Checks. I sign my check. So I'm like the finance minister. Normally, finance minister gets the opportunity to sign, put his signature on currency notes. Here, there's a piece of paper given to me by the bank. The moment I put my signature, it's a currency. So that's paper-based. Money orders, bill of exchange, promissory notes, all of them are physical documents. Electronic, nothing physical. So most of the transactions what we do are electronic types these days. We pay our bills, utility bills, electronically. Credit cards, debit cards are becoming more and more popular. Then who are the service providers for payment system? Licensed commercial banks, specialized banks, finance companies. An operator who provides cellular mobile telephone services under the authority of license issued. Okay, right. So you have reload system. Okay. The first advertisement I can remember by dialogue, there was an actress, Analkali. She's shouting, reload, they are done. Okay, so that's how the first advertisements appear. But by now we know even the mobile phone operators are providing payment mechanism. Okay. So for exam purpose, what are the parties? So who are the, okay, what are the institutions that can provide payment systems? So you have LCBs, LSBs, LFCs, then cellular mobile phone service providers. A company, you have another one. A company registered under Companies Act number 7 of 2007, having an unimpaired capital at least 150 million, or such amount determined by CBSL, other than company limited by guarantee and offshore company. Okay, so these are the service providers for payment systems. Then I talked about credit cards last week. Okay. Then I said there were different arguments on credit cards. Unlike other payment mechanism, credit card is a deferred consumption. So you are using the service or product today with the agreement to pay it later. If you don't have financial discipline, you will be in trouble. But if you have financial discipline, credit cards are really good. So you can't blame credit cards, but you must blame yourself. Right. Then I'll read out some nice statements on credit cards. Last week I asked you how many of you having credit cards. Okay. Now this is one statement. It's often recommended that you cut up your credit cards and pay cash for everything. Now I told you last week, the biggest investor, Warren Buffett, he used to say, if you have a credit card and if you want to be rich, first take a pair of scissors and cut the credit card, put it into dustbin. So that was the thinking of good old days. People were afraid to credit cards. And those financial analysts found the interest rate is very high. The problem is people should know when to use a credit card and when not. Okay. So I'll read again. It's often recommended that you cut up your credit cards and pay cash for everything. I don't recommend that. It's a bit severe because it's quite inconvenience to be getting cash all the time. Okay. Now, what is the use of credit card? You can make payments, electronic payments. I carry 3 credit cards. I have all kinds of credit cards that I never use, but I only use 3 plus a debit card. And I keep everything paid off every single month. Okay. So the writer of this book, he is using credit card as a payment mechanism. Every month he settles, not as a deferred payment mechanism, but as a payment mechanism. If you don't, it can accumulate. Now, if you don't settle your dues every month, it will keep on accumulating and quickly. I learned the hard way. I carry no credit card, debt card at all. Okay. So some people, when they don't have the discipline, they buy capital goods out of credit cards. Remember, credit card is meant to use for consumptions, consumption loans. Consumption means what I use for day-to-day usage and definitely a fraction of my monthly salary. Okay. What is capital expenditure? Definitely a capital expenditure is something many times than my salary. Okay. Forget about all the other accounting definitions. At least remember, consumption is something which I have to do as a fraction of my salary, monthly income. Capital items mean I may have to use many folds of my monthly income to pay it. If you buy capital goods out of credit cards, you are in trouble. Why? You are buying more than your monthly salary. Consumption. Definitely, a careful consumer should know his limit. What is the upper limit? Your monthly income. A fraction of monthly income is your consumption, and to pay that, you can easily use a credit card. If so, at the end of the month, you can settle it. Okay, so that's what the writer says. Then it will be convenient. Let's move back to our discussion. Right. Payments and settlement systems. Various systems for making online and offline payments and settlements of such payments, such as checks, RTGS, SWIFT, slips, and cards. Once again, just out of curiosity, how many of you have checkbooks? How many of you have checkbooks? I hope all of you are above 18 years old. Otherwise, you are not doing this course. In the chat box, say yes or no. That's enough. Okay. Others? Okay. Okay, right, right. What is the purpose of having a checkbook as you know it? Okay, you use a checkbook to make payments. Sometimes you can make payments without having money in your account. So you call it TOD, temporary overdraft, or POD, permanent overdraft. So these are the facilities which you can obtain by having a very good credit card, current account. Right. Now, for you, the young people of this country, I would recommend you to practice a little bit of what you learn. Otherwise, this country will remain the same country that we lived and your parents lived. Okay. When I asked what is CDS accounts those days at the very beginning, you are not aware. Later on, I asked how many of you have CDS accounts? No one. Means what? You, the students of banking, are not aware about the capital market. My dear, get a flavor out of what you study. Practice a little bit. Checkbook. Remember, most of the people who have hidden agendas, they master this subject, though they are not good in studies. Right? I have met people who use current accounts, credit cards, and all sorts of payment mechanism for uh, illegal or unethical manner. They use them in a very unethical manner. They want to play it out, but the good people, they don't know, they don't use it. Right? Now, one supplier, he came up to me and said, "Can you use a current account without having a checkbook?" I said, "No, the purpose is you have a checkbook." He said, "No, my bank gives me checks only when I need it, only a slip of check." Luckily, I knew the manager and I asked him. That the manager said, "This person is so indisciplined, and I have advised he's doing business and he has to use checks. I am not giving him the checkbook and I am giving him only a check whenever he want and he has positive balance in his account." So to that extent, he is indisciplined. So most of the people, they want to play and they study the payment mechanism. Right. Get back to our subject area. So you have checks, RTGS, SWIFT, slips and cards. Efficient payments and free of hassle. Efficient payments and free of hassle of use of cash and reduce transactions cost. Improve the efficiency and speed of economic transaction. Reduce the increase of printing currency. Okay. Now that's where payment mechanism is required. Think about government institutions. Sometimes you go to one place, get a piece of paper indicating the price when government is trying to sell something. There was State Trading Corporation, STC, and maybe if you are a university student, when you want to pay something or get some kind of money, you go to one person, get a bill, he will sign it, chop it. Then you have to go to another person. There's a nice term, sarap, and give him. Then you have to go to cashier, right? Sometimes you are given a token and you have to wait in a waiting list. Means what? Most of the state institutions, they improve and groom inefficiency to make simple payments. But today, you can make payments online and immediately settle something. Means what? What we need under payment system, more efficient, not waiting in queues, free of hassle, of using cash. I need not to carry bags of money, briefcases of money protected by many security guards. No, just at my fingertips, I'll send money and reduce transaction cost and improve the efficiency and the speed of economic transaction, reduce the increase of printing of currency. Okay. Now, earlier, whenever I want to buy shares, I used to sign a check, give it to make someone physically go to the stockbroker and give him the check. Then it will take about at least 2 days to get it realized. Right? But today that is not the case. You go to CDM machine, immediately put money that's below 200,000, and immediately you WhatsApp the picture of the printout, and the transaction is clear. Even without WhatsApp, they can trace it, but it's very easy for them to trace and immediately correct my statement. Means what? Things are improving, and what we are valuing today is time. We don't want 2 days to realize, on the spot realization. Online payment gateway options. How many of these signatures, signs you have seen? MasterCard, you have seen. Visa, yes. What else? Standard Chartered, you have seen. PayPal, maybe you have seen. Amazon, okay. WePay, one very popular among China. Okay. So these are gateway options. Now we come to payment cards. We can make payments by a device that enable its owner to make payments by electronic fund transfer. The most common types of payment cards are credit card and debit card. Payment cards are usually plastic cards. This must be cards, sorry for that, with an embossed card number. Most commonly, a payment card is electronically linked to an account or accounts belonging to the card holder. Okay. Now, if you have credit card, you can easily do transactions. Some people, those who don't have financial discipline, fall into a trap. Okay. I told you what is consumption and what is capital. Okay. Suppose a person who is constructing a house, he take a housing loan, and you know how the loan process is taking place, right? And you have BOQ, and in today's context, you know how the prices are escalating. And what happened? BOQs are out, but banks can't increase your loan amounts based on not increasing your income, right? Then what you do? You take a credit card and buy tiles, bathroom fittings, these things out of credit card. Okay. Let's assume your salary is 100,000 and the amount of tiles you need maybe for a particular area, say one floor, is 800,000. Your salary is 100,000 and your credit card limit is 1 million. You have been a very good paymaster and the bank has continuously increased your credit limit and you are given 1 million upper ceiling. You are using this credit card to buy tiles worth 800,000. So my question is it a good decision? Say yes or no. Just say yes or no. No, no, right. Then tell me why. It's not a good decision, correct. Why? Why? Because if you take consumption loan, which is a fraction of your monthly salary, say you buy pharmaceutical items, 3,000. When you have a monthly salary of 100,000, 3,000 is not a big amount. You can settle within the stipulated days, maybe within 1 month you can settle. But if you take 800,000, my dear, you have to pay your housing loan, you have to consume your day-to-day items, you have to meet the utility bills, and you may be having a very small amount to pay. So the minimum payment, right? Now, if you take a facility of 800,000 and continue paying only the minimum amount in the credit card account statement, how long will it take you to complete this total payment? Can anyone guess? Now we have purchased tiles worth 800,000 using your credit card, and you don't have money because you have to honor your housing loan installment. You don't have much money, so you are very happy. You pay only the minimum amount given in the credit card, so you are in the good books. My question is, how long will it take you to settle this amount? Can anyone guess? Remember, it will, okay, if you pay the minimum amount, what happened next month? The remaining plus accumulated interest multiplied by month interest, annualized about 28%. Remember, do it mathematically. It will take indefinite numbers of years until your death maybe and beyond. And so this is why you should not use credit cards for capital payments. Do it mathematically. Okay. If you try to pay only the minimum amount, how long will it take? Right. Take some examples, check it yourself. There must be interest. Okay. So every month you are charging interest. Okay. Now back to our subject area. So most commonly payment card is electronic. Most commonly a payment card is electronically linked to an account or accounts belonging to the cardholder, like a debit card. Sorry. Cash or card? Cash. Do you have sufficient funds? Yes. Key in cash amount. So that is the debit type. The other side, that's your credit system. These accounts may be deposit accounts or loan or credit accounts. Okay, right. So credit cards, it's a loan amount. However, stored value cards are cards that store money on card itself. Offers customers more security, convenience, flexibility. Okay, so these cards, these plastic cards give you security. There's no point of robbing it. Say I'm carrying upper credit limit 300,000, 3 million. Whoever take it from me has no usage, convenience, flexibility, control than any other payment method. They enable online payments and saves administrative cost. So these are the positive side of having cards. Then you have something called charge cards. Charge cards mean a payment card which involves a line of credit granted by the issuer to a card holder, where the credit utilized by the card holder must be settled fully or on or before date specified by the issuer, without any extended credit. So that's one type. We are talking about card payments. Then on credit cards. Credit card means a payment card which involves a line of credit granted by the issuer to the card holder, where the credit utilized can be settled in full or in part on or before a specified date. The issuer may charge interest or other charges or any amount not settled on the specified date. So you know that credit card. You take a loan and you can pay sharp fully at the end of the month, or you may pay in small amounts. Right. At the beginning, we talked about three motives of holding money. What are these three motives? There are three motives of holding money. What are they? At the very beginning, I talked about this last week. There are three motives of holding money. That's how the economists say it. People keep money for three things, three reasons. Very good. Transaction motive, speculative motive, and precautionary motive. Now link that with credit cards. Can you satisfy your transaction motive by using a credit card? Say yes or no. Can you satisfy your transaction motive by using a credit card? Very simply, can you do transactions using a credit card? Say yes or no. Yes. Yes. Right. If so, you need not to have physical cash in your pocket. You can use credit cards. Okay. Right. So you will carry a very small amount in your pocket, in your purse, just to meet the simple payments that required, and who will not accept your credit card. For an example, bus ticket. Okay. But the rest you can pay by credit card. So you don't demand that much of physical currency now thanks to credit card. Okay. Then you had another very good motive, precautionary motive. If something happens to me, I maintain a rainy day account, rainy day savings. Okay. If I have to stay in hospital, I must have some amount of money saved if I don't have insurance policy. Now you have a credit card. Can you use credit card for precautionary motive? Can you settle your hospital bill by using a credit card? Simple as that. Yes. Yes. Means what? People kept physical money for transaction motive. Now that is mostly replaced by credit cards. People used physical money. They kept in tins, lockers, drawers in case of something happened to me. Today, you don't want that. You just have a credit card and meet the precautionary motive. Okay. Now, unlike other consumption loans, if something happens to me, first I have to save myself. If so, I may use my credit cards. That's a very good option of having a credit card. So don't use it unnecessarily. But suppose if something happened to me, if I have to be hospitalized, uh, having a credit card comes handy. Okay, so these are the benefits. We talked about credit cards. Electronic fund transfer, EFT, electronic fund transfer of money from one bank account to another, either within a single financial institution or across multiple institutions via computer-based systems, without direct intervention of bank staff or any paper money changing hands. Say you go to CDM machine, that's what you are doing. One of the most widely used electronic fund transfer program is direct deposit, in which payroll is deposited straight into an employee's bank account. So electronically, funds get transferred. Electronic fund transfer is also include any transfer, any transfer of funds initiated through initiated through an electronic terminal, including credit cards, ATM point of sale transaction. Benefit of electronic fund transfer: improve safety and security of payments, quick settlement, reduced administrative cost, increased efficiency, simplified bookkeeping. Okay, now good old days, when I want to buy shares, I write a check, send it to the stockbroker, wait for 2 days. When I come to know that the check is realized, then only I will buy shares. Today, when I buy shares, I can electronically transfer funds, and immediately that is shown in my account statement. Life has become very easy. We can do transactions easily. No need to move. Those days, think about era like this. We are locked down, but stock market is active. many capital markets active, right? And the economic transactions take place. Governments and factories are working. You have to pay your salaries to the staff. Very easy. Electronic fund transfer. Okay, so these are the benefits. Now, when we talked about the service providers, we talked about mobile or cellular phone service providers. Today, you have mobile cash. Mobile cash is an innovative way to transfer money securely via a mobile number. The received money can be withdrawn from any ATM without having an ATM card. That's the beauty of it. Credit into an account or used to top up a debit card money can also be transferred to an account via mobile phone. Today, many young people use mobile cash, and it is becoming almost like a threat to the traditional banks. The moment you start to make transactions, it's like using checks, which only commercial banks enjoyed. And if you add credit facility for your payments, it will definitely become a threat to banks. So mobile phone service providers will one day become a competing force with banking system. The unique service can be available even if you don't have a bank account. It enables you to perform a wide array of financial transactions using your mobile phone anytime, anywhere. Remember, mobile phone has changed our world to such an extent. We have replaced so many products with mobile phone. Can someone tell me, okay, in the chat box, you can name what are the products replaced by mobile phone? Think as much as you possible and tell me. Now we don't use many products thanks to mobile phone. What are the products that we are no more using? Camera, very good. What else? Calendar, good. Go ahead. There are many more. Watch, good. Calculator, alarm, good. Mail, right. What else? I need more. Torchlight, very good. What else? What else? Anyone in music? Radio, notebooks, sticky notes. Good. What else? Maps. Thanks. What else? Anyone doing music? Say guitar players? Yeah, movies. What else? Now, those who are in music, they know you have to use tuners, especially for guitars. You have to tune, and there were earlier tuning forks. Yeah, postal service agreed. Right. Today you have apps. That's it. Translators. You have apps. So many apps. Okay, and with these apps, you are replacing many things. Okay, dictionary. Very good. So mobile has become part and parcel of human body, right? And I have seen what will happen to the human beings under evolutionary. I'll tell you one thing what is happening to you thanks to your mobile phone, right? When okay, when I joined my company as a management trainee, mobile phone was not that much popular. Okay? So those days we had a physical book called telephone directory, a printed book, and my company, as an annual gift to our customers, we gave a printed telephone directory. So good old days, what people do, all known people's numbers are personally written in this book. Okay, Amila, not 777 883 449. You write it. Okay. Then how do you use it? You look at the directory dial. Look at the directory dial. You do it 10 times, 20 times. What happened? The number is registered in your book. Okay. Now my question is, how many of you can remember 10 of your good friends' phone numbers? In your mind, there are 10 good friends' phone numbers. If you have, say yes. If you don't have, say no. 10 of your good friends' phone numbers. Others continue. Okay. Okay. Now this is one evolutionary process. What is happening? We tend to, thanks Chaturanga. Okay. We tend to not to use our brain. Okay. So very soon, after a few generations, we'll find a set of people, and that is already there, who can't even tell his own mobile phone number. Have you met such people? There are people who can't tell his own mobile phone's number. Have you met such people? Okay. So what is happening? What is happening? In our mind, in our brain, there is something called memory storage. Now people don't use that. People don't use that. Okay. Good old people, thanks to the religious teaching, they could by heart many poems, verses, and say it loud. So you maybe call it Gatha, hymn, so nice terms for that. They have by hearted that. They were using the memory cells in their brain to the maximum extent. Today, we meet people who can't even remember their own phone number. What is your father's mobile phone number? What is your mother's home number? Phone number? What is your best friend's phone number? You have five good best friends. Can you tell me the five mobile phone numbers? No, I can't. So you are slowly getting out of your brain memory. Then physical books. Slowly now we are looking into mobile phone and try to read e-books in small screen. What is happening to our eyes? Our eyes, human eyes, are meant to look here and there, look far, look near, right? Thanks to mobile phone, very rarely you look above. Your eyes are stick to the screen, and very soon. Now I am 50 years old and I'm using spectacles, and I believe that's natural. But I see, thanks to mobile phone, very young people now start to use spec these specs very early in their life. Why? They train their eyes just to look the nearest possible screen, and for too many hours. Then naturally, your eyes adapt. Now you can't see far away things. Okay? So these are some drawbacks. Anyway, these are drawbacks, but part of evolutionary process. Very soon, man will be not complete without a mobile phone. His memory is not there if mobile phone get lost. Right? He won't be able to see things if not mobile phone. Okay, he will not be able to understand, remember things if not having a mobile phone. Okay, and now very soon he will not be able to make any payment if he's not having a mobile phone in his hand. Right. So that's the evolutionary process. We can't help it. Continue. Right. So that's what we discussed. What's this? Okay, right. Common ATM switch. This system connects ATM networks of several banks, allowing for account holders. Right. Let me first tell you a story on this. Okay. Fred Smith, the owner of FedEx, he wrote an essay in his MBA program. His essay was starting up a courier service, and he was given C minus, a lowest grade that is offered to an MBA student in that batch. The lecturer, an economist, he argued theoretically one thing: there is no point of laying another network in a place where there is already a network established. I'll tell you an example. Think about electricity in Sri Lanka. There are lamp posts, wires connecting, and that's a network, a huge network. From the transformers, you get electricity from the reservoirs. So wherever the generators are, you get electricity stored and moved in wires, and they come to your home. That's a huge network. Entire island is covered by this network. While having this network established, if someone else is trying to put another network, another set of lamp posts, another set of wires, and comes another private party, now we have same town, three lamp post lines and three networks going on electricity, and they are competing each other. This is crazy. So the lecturer gave him C minus. When there is a network already established, there is no point of having another network. Very good theoretical argument. But Fred Smith started FedEx, proved even though you have government mail services around the world, I can have another network. Okay. Theoretically, when you have a network, there is no need to have another network. ATM network. People's Bank would say we have the biggest ATM machines, the network. Right? Another bank, why can't they get access to this ATM and pay a small amount? So why can't we connect all these ATM machines by a network? So every bank cardholder will be happy. Maybe you have to pay a slightly higher amount. So this system is known as common ATM switch. This system connect ATM network of, okay, if not, what is happening? It's like having electric lamppost network by 3, 4, 10, 20 different companies. It's crazy. Right. This system connect ATM network of several banks, allowing for account holders of all these banks to check account balance and withdraw funds at a minimal cost from an ATM of any of the member banks, effectively creating a common ATM network between the banks. Now, think about one electric network, but different people, different suppliers, or each supplier having different electric network. Customers can access common ATMs spread island-wide to carry out their transactions with utmost convenience at nominal charge. Yes, there will be a nominal charge. So I can withdraw money from my Sampath Bank account ATM through People's Bank ATM machine. If that is so, that's what we call common ATM switch. And you know the benefits of that. But there will be a nominal charge. Electronic remittance. Okay. Once again, another story. Good old days, like today, there's no difference. Sri Lanka and the Sri Lankan economists and the Sri Lankan politicians, we believe in one thing. That is, we must safeguard our economy and get the maximum out of foreign economies. Simple as that. While practicing local protectionism, we must sell our products in other countries. I simplify further. Siyalatade Sirisapade. That's the sticker. Don't buy any foreign product. Buy Sri Lankan product. That's within Sri Lanka. If a foreigner want to sell, chase him away. And while doing that, export something and earn dollars. For non-history, after, okay, not non-history, from the day we got independence, that was our thinking. Okay, we call this beggar thy neighbor theory. I want to become rich by making my neighbor poor. Will it work? Say yes or no. Will this work? I am protecting my country by not importing anything, but I want maximum benefit out of exporting. Will this work? Say yes or no. Others. Okay, right. Right. Okay, right. Thank you. Now, 1929, USA was facing an economic crisis. Banks were collapsing one after the other. And by that time, there was another thing called dust ball. That means farmers, they found the rain is not coming as usual and it's only a wind. So they have cleared large number of acres and the wind is blowing dust up for miles. Dust is blowing. They call it dust ball. So you don't have food, your stock market has crashed, banks are collapsing one by one. That was worst hit in USA. And USA government decided one thing: we will not import anything from Europe. That was the competing economic force. We will not allow any foreign product here, but we will sell our products elsewhere. America was the biggest buyer of the world and biggest consumer of the world then. Europe found if America closed down, we will not be able to sell our products. At the same time, America was a large supplier then. They have established huge factories where the capacity is many folds bigger than the country's demand. So they have to sell their products outside. Europe said, okay, we will stop buying from you. Then American economists knew beggar thy neighbor policy. We can't be rich by making my neighbor poor. So they abandoned that. And they once again strongly practiced open economy. Sri Lanka, still we believe we can become rich by not allowing real free economy. Right? Foreign remittance. We continuously believed it's better not to sell our whatever existing dollars outside, but bring as much as possible. And we see the net result. Okay, we don't have dollars now, much dollars now. Our foreign reserves have come down. So this has been the practice for a long known period. Remittance, right? Money was not easy to be sent out. Electronic remittance, an internet-based instant money transfer facility which enables consumers to send or receive money within seconds through a remittance agent. E-remittances are mostly used to remit funds between countries. Speed, flexibility, okay. Protection of privacy, security, etc. are the main advantages of this system. Okay, so Sri Lanka has been blocking a lot of the time sending money outside. And as long as you do that, you don't receive money much inside as well. Okay. Now, when you prohibit something, what is happening? When you prohibit something, what is happening? Frauds. Very good. Frauds. What else? Frauds. Correct. What else? Okay. Let's say you prohibit something. What happened to the price of the prohibited item? Is it goes up or down? It increase. Very good. Right? You prohibit smoking and no cigarettes. What will happen? The cigarette price goes up. And in Russia, once they prohibited for a long period when they were communists, they have prohibited Coca-Cola in Russia. What happened to Coca-Cola? If you can somehow take a Coke bottle to Russia, you can enjoy a good life there. Okay. So within prison, no one can take, let's say, cigarettes inside prison cells. But those who have cigarettes, they will enjoy life. Okay. Right. Now, foreign remittance. There was a time, okay, even now, you can't send money outside, but a lot of people want to send money outside. Once, a good friend of mine, an actor, he went to America, good old days. Right? Many Sri Lankan actors, after receiving certain awards and when they get access to the world, they prefer to go to America. So this actor left Sri Lanka, went to America. Now, within the first few months, he has no job, right? And he needs some money, just let's say 200,000 rupees to be sent to America. Those days, I was just undergraduate, and I talked to one bank manager, and I told him there is a difficulty. This person, his family want to send him 200,000 to America, but through the banking system, it seems to be extremely difficult to send money. What can we do? Then he said, okay, there is a way, and he gave me a number and said, okay, you can give money to this place, they will send it to USA, right? And I gave this address to the family members of the actor. His brother called me and said, we went to this place. It's a very small boutique in Peta, and they are selling kohulanu, coconut coir, threads, fiber. Then I talked to the person who knows the subject. He said, yes, that is the place. Give them money. Right? Trust them, give them money. That was the answer. So I told them, yes, it seems to be the place, give them money. Okay, they gave him this boutique corner money, and instantly the actor has received the money. Means what? This is illegal. I was not aware as an undergraduate that it's illegal or what is happening. Right? I was just intervening. This is Undial and Hawala system. Illegal way of transferring money from country to country. If you want to know more about that, watch a Tamil movie, Big Boss Shivaji by Rajinikanth is the main actor. It talks the same situation in India. In India, like us, there were a lot of restrictions to send money outside, but they also send money to USA, right? And how do they send? Same system, same mechanism, Undiala and Hawala. Illegal money transferring systems, right? Electronic remittance, an internet-based instant money transfer facility which enables consumers to receive money within seconds through a remittance agent. E-remittance are very speedily, flexibility. It's protecting and privacy, security, everything is there. Then you have money changers. A money change is a person or an organization whose business is to exchange of coins or currency of one country for that of another. In order to provide facilities for encashment of foreign currency, especially for foreign tourists, the Central Bank Exchange Control Department has authorized certain established firms or organizations permitting them to engage in this business, subject to direction issued to them from time to time. So you have, if you go to PETA or maybe Vellavath, you will find a lot of money exchanges, private money exchanges, in addition to banks. So they will exchange currencies. Scriptless securities settlement system, that is easily known as SSS. Scriptless securities settlement system is a security settlement service providing liquidity facility to banks whenever they require it in real-time gross settlements. It also supports bookkeeping of securities and holding for all banks, including government bonds, notes, and so-called participation papers. The system is working closely with real-time gross settlements to bring maximum financial stability. So you must know these systems. Benefits of Scriptless. Investors' risk associated with holding and trading of paper-based securities will be totally eliminated under Scriptless security settlement system. You don't have a piece of paper. You need not to bring currency physically. So that is eliminating a threat. Most of the time, cash in transit is subject to lot of security measures. The investor will also not have to undergo the hassle of dealing with physical certificates of security. Right. Then there are physical paper. You are not using physical money, a paper. Share certificate. In 1970s or say in 1980s, you buy a company share and a share certificate is given to you. You keep it in the lowest part of your drawer. With time, you forget it. Now you don't have a physical thing. Here, physical things are also creating hassles. You have to keep them. You have to ensure they don't get destroyed. And the signature you have put into that must be the same signature after 20 odd years. You don't want to do that. Now we have only a number, just a number, no physical things. There will be substantial saving of time as system will operate online. Yeah, those days you have to wait 2-3 days to see money getting realized. There is no such thing immediate. This will improve liquidity of government debt securities. There are treasury bills, treasury bonds, development bonds, and billions. But government liquidity will increase, benefiting the investor as spread between buying and selling prices are likely to reduce due to enhanced liquidity and increased competition. Okay, now this government security market, last week we talked about whom? Money dealers. Okay, now that part, primary dealers, their job becomes very easy thanks to Scriptless. Investors will have a much more safe system which will minimize errors and omissions usually encountered in manual systems. Yes, those days you have to reconcile. My database will not be the same database with someone else. So I had to reconcile. Now it's online. It's very easy. Since the records of transactions and holdings are maintained at a centralized database, that is Lanka Security, with the hot backups, risk of information due to technical failures is minimal. That's another one. If I have my own computer, maybe someone can hack it. But here, my database is secured with Lanka Securities, and the risk of such is minimal. Investors can verify their position of holding the securities in the system at any point in time through the facility called browser workstation. Next, slips. Sri Lanka Interbank Payment System. Slips is owned by Lanka Clear, an organization owned by CBSL and licensed commercial banks. Right. So this is Slips, Sri Lanka Interbank Payment System. Slips is initiated by CBSL in 1993. Okay. T plus 0. Trading day plus no other day. Clearing started. Okay. Interbank transactions get settled through real-time gross settlement system of CBSL. Then there are two types of slip payment.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
What is the period for realization in slips, sir?
Slips immediately.
What is what will happen if the transaction time is more than after 1 p.m.
After
or something?
1, then next day. So you have to do it before noon. If not, next. Okay. So there are two types of slips, primary participants and secondary participants. Then slip system supported two transaction type, credit and debit. Right. So why use cash or checks? for payments when you have slips. So these are some of the advertisements promoting slips. Then on RTGS, slips for small amounts. RTGS, big amounts. Just think like that. Real-time gross settlement is an electronic fund settlement system which processes and settles each payment instruction individually and irrevocably on real-time basis. Right? Slips, you may take time after there's a cutoff time. RTGS, real-time. Okay, real-time gross settlement. The value of transactions settled in the RTGS system accounts for about 85 of the non-cash payment, majority, so that's big amounts. Money market, government securities, open market operations, okay, so these are coming under RTGS. As a measure of mitigating the settlement risk, CBSL provide intraday liquidity facility to participating LCBs and primary dealers free of charge against collateral of Scriptless securities in Lanka Security. Okay, so under payment system, we are moving to another remittance agents. As I said earlier, for the foreigner, for someone who is staying in a foreign country, it's very difficult to send money, but it's easy to get money. Remittance agents are there to transfer. Money can be sent 20% to any bank account to a mobile phone in minutes through a wide network of locations. Okay? And these transfer of funds can be tracked online. So you have Western Union, MoneyGram as very popular remittance agents. Then SWIFT, Society for Worldwide Interbank Financial Telecommunications System, SWIFT. SWIFT assign each financial organization unique code that has either 8 characters or 11 characters. The code is interchangeably called the bank identified code. Right. So these are coming under payment mechanism, and most of the time you are comparing the payment mechanism with physical money. With physical money, what are the difficulties? You can eliminate that with other payment mechanism. Then you have two types: cash, non-cash. Under non-cash, document-based, electronic-based. Okay, with that we can end on payment system, go through it. Right, now we can have the questions and answers. Okay, now for the very first time I'm requesting you to have a piece of paper, maybe a book, ideally a book. Okay, so you can take a book, exercise book, and what I'm giving you is questions from past papers. Last week I told you I will now take maybe 1 hour or more for the lesson. Then I will go for question and answer session where you have to write the answers first. Then we can discuss. Okay? Just an introduction to your paper. Your paper consists of two main parts. Question number 1, that's compulsory. That will give you maximum 20 marks. Then you have to select 4 other from the subset. Okay, so altogether you have 5 questions to answer, each carry 20 marks, so you get 100 marks. First question is compulsory. It consists of 2 areas. Number 1, MCQ. Number 2, short answers. Okay. Then the other part of the question paper, you normally get 8 questions. Out of that, you have to select 4. Each one area is looking into one subject area. Say question number 6, Okay, so I'm quoting you September 2018. Note it down. September 2018, question number 6. Okay, so in a question, it focuses purely on one subject area. If it's insurance, entire set of questions are coming under insurance. If it's on primary dealers, entirely on primary dealers. And the way how these questions are set, 4 questions under one area. Let's say number 6, unit trust. It talk about unit trust. Under unit trust, you have 4 questions. Most of the time, these 4 questions consist of 5 answers. Yes, each is giving 5 answers. Okay. Then you have to, once you select the subject area, you have to write the answers. And the subject area is described in a small paragraph like few sentences. You need not to write them. I'll just read them. Number 6, unit trusts were introduced to Sri Lanka to provide an alternative investment opportunity for people to benefit from the capital market. Okay. Now the statement says we are talking about unit trust. Unit trust is introduced to Sri Lanka as an alternative investment opportunity for people to benefit from capital market. What does it mean? Instead of directly you investing as alternative, you can still invest in capital market through unit trusts. There are many unit trusts available in Sri Lanka, and investment in unit trusts have become a popular mode of investment today among passive individual investors. So the examiner used the word passive. Passive means what? The person who is doing the activity is not shown. That is passive. Active means I personally involved. So if you are directly buying, it's active. It's active one. When you are not directly buying any share, you are a passive investor. You are not involved. So among passive investors, unit trusts have become very popular. So likewise, first you have a describing paragraph before setting questions. Now write down the first question. I want you to answer. First you write down the questions, write your answers, then we'll discuss. Number 1, write down. Describe a unit trust and how it operates. Describe a unit trust and how it operates. Describe a unit trust and how it operates. 5 marks. Number 2, mention 2 benefits of investing in a unit trust. Number 2, mention 2 benefits of investing in a unit trust. We have talked about 5 benefits. You asked to write 2 benefits. Mention 2 benefits of investing in a unit trust. Mention 2 benefits of investing in a unit trust. Number 3, unit trusts can be broadly classified into unit trusts can be broadly classified into 2 categories. Name and briefly explain them. Name and briefly explain them. Okay. Unit trust can be broadly classified into two categories. Name and briefly explain them. Number 4, there are different types of unit trust funds. There are different types of unit trust funds. Name and briefly explain two such funds. Name and briefly explain two such funds. 5 marks. Altogether, 20 marks. Okay. Take your time and write. After writing, we will discuss. And I'll show you one thing. Let's say question number 3 here. There are two main broad categories. Maybe we have not discussed that in the class. If you can write the answer, yes, fine. If not, when we are discussing the answers, we will talk about it. Anyway, take your time and write. I know this is something very difficult and different in electronic, this kind of online teaching. If it's a physical one, when you are writing, I'll move around your uh, seating places, then I know what you are writing. Here I don't see, right? But be honest, this is what learning is. It's very easy to listen to me because you have nothing to do. Now you have something to do and I have nothing to do. So we are changing our job role now. Okay, take your time, write. First one, describe a unit trust and how does it operate? Can someone tell me what you have written? Is it possible? Yeah. The first question. Now, this is a difficult area for me in online. Okay. From one side, I had to definitely do question and answer session. Then only you will know, okay, this is how the exam questions are raised. And this is how I have to prepare for the exam. Otherwise, I'll be just talking and you'll be listening and enjoying. But now the difficult part is with you. Okay. Can someone tell me what you have written for the number 1? Yeah. If it's a physical class, I know I can pick a book and read it out. Here you have to read. I can't see what you are doing. Okay, very good. Unit trust is a pool or collection of funds handled by professional managers. Very good. So that keyword is important. Pool, pooling of funds, pool of funds. Okay. So what you are talking, there are 3 parties. What are the 3 parties we have discussed in the class? Maybe in the chat box, tell me who are these 3 parties. Unit trust, there is a tri-party agreement. Who are they? Trustee, investor, and fund manager. Very good. Right. So in your answer, number 1, pooling of funds must be there. Number 2, this tri-party agreement should be discussed. First, I'll say the answer as it appears in the paper, then we'll discuss. A unit trust is a pool of funds. So in your answer, that was there. Pool of funds collected from a number of investors who share a common financial goal. Funds collected from investors are invested in various financial assets such as shares, treasury bills, treasury bonds, debentures, and other securities. The income earned from these investments and the capital appreciation is shared by its unit holders in proportion to the number of units owned by them. Okay. So your answer is unit trust is a pool of fund collected from large number of unit trust holders. These unit trust holders get a unit against the number of shares or investments done by the fund manager. Unit trust holder can sell his existing units or can buy further units and increase his holding. Unit trust agreement involve three parties. Number one, investor. Number two, trustee. Number three, fund manager. Unit trusts are regulated by SEC, Securities and Exchange Commission. So these things we have discussed in the class. Put them in proper order. Your answer need not to be just a replicate of the model answer. You need not to by heart the model answer. Understand what is a unit trust and say it in your own words. There are keywords that you must not miss here. Pool, pooling of funds is the keyword. Okay. Second one, mention two benefits of investing in a unit trust. I believe that is also very easy. I have given you 5 benefits at least. So what is the answer? What are the benefits of investing in unit trusts? We have talked. What are they? Tax benefits, liquidity, affordability, diversification. You can easily diversify. Okay. You can jointly invest with a minor. Diversification is there. Very good. So that part is covered. Let's see. Can take money without penalty. Very good. Okay. Let's see what they have to note down. Okay, so these are the answers. A unit trust can offer a much faster rate of return than a bank deposit over a period of 3 to 5 years. It is cost effective as even a small amount like 1,000 can be invested in a unit trust. So you said in one simple word, affordability. So you can describe that. Affordability hyphen, what do you mean by affordability? Investor doesn't need to spare time to assess investment decisions as this is done by a professional fund manager. Yes. Cost effectiveness, yes. Professional fund manager, right? Obtaining the service of professional fund manager. That's there. Assets of unit trust funds are under the custody of independent trustee who looks after investors' interest. That's there, right? It's flexible as the investors can invest additional money whenever they have some and can pull money out whenever they need it without any penalty. You said that. You can withdraw without penalties. Return of unit trusts are tax-free. You have already said that. Okay. So second part, you have answered. Very good. Now, third one, I'll take time. We'll look into number 4. Have you completed number 4? There are 5 types we have discussed. Can you tell me these 5 types? Okay, I'll give you 5 more minutes. Then tell me the answer. Number 3, we will discuss. Okay. Number 4, everyone. I have given these 5 types. Write at least, write 2 types. Okay, I'll give you 5 more minutes. So there are different types of unit trusts. So what are they? Types of unit trusts. What are they? Income fund, balance fund, gilt edge funds, index funds. Okay, right. Now you have to describe them. Okay, gilt edged. The name itself says you are going for what? Government securities. Balanced fund. The name itself suggests there is debt equity. Okay, index funds. It's replicating an index like S&P 20, Sri Lanka S&P 20, or ASI. Likewise, exactly replicating an index. Okay. Right. Now, first I'll read out the answer. Open-ended funds. Gilt-edged funds, indexed funds, money market funds, income funds, balanced funds. So these are the funds. There's another one which I have not given in my answer, my class. Sector funds. Write down sector funds. SECTUR. Sector funds. So in my class we talked about gilt edged. You know that indexed, yes. Money market, yes. Then balance funds, yes. Income funds, yes. But the last one, sector funds. Write down sector funds. These funds can be confined to equity securities. These funds can be confined to equity securities of a particular sector. These funds can be confined to equity securities of a particular sector. Okay. So instead of having a pool from different sectors in share market, you can select within share market one sector. Say you select tourism, then you invest only in tourism sector. That is meant here. For example, write down, for example, the banking sector. For example, the banking sector, comma, the manufacturing sector, etc., etc. For example, the banking sector, comma, the manufacturing sector, etc. Okay, so sector funds mean the unit trust is investing in share market, equity market, but in only one selected sector. That is, for an example, banking sector or manufacturing sector or power or tourism, right? But you can see there is a risk involved, a very high risk. Say tourism in, if you have selected tourism sector and invested only in tourism related shares from 2009 to 2019, 10 years you was making profit at a stretch. But what happened after that? 3 consecutive years you are in red, bleeding, no money, no dividend, no capital gains. So this is a risky area. We'll read. For example, if the fund is banking sector fund, the investment of the fund will be confined to equity securities coming under the banking sector. The fund manager need not invest in all the companies that come under a particular sector. He can select the best companies out of the sector and invest. Okay. For an example, if you select banking, you need not to invest in all the listed banks in share market. You can select few banks, okay, Sampath, DFCC, NDB, commercial, and invest in only that. Okay. The fund manager takes a view that during certain period, certain sectors will do well and offer that opportunity to the investor to take advantage of it. Yes. With immediate end of war, tourism sector was booming. So you can select only tourism sector and invest. But my dear, remember, that's a very high risky decision. Okay. What is the best sector to invest these days? Can someone tell me? Now we are investing in sector funds. Right. So this is one advantage of doing past papers. Right. So we have talked, but we have not talked about sector funds. We have talked about all the other. Okay. You are selecting manufacturing sector. Right. Good. So manufacturing, tile manufacturing, IT sector and telecommunication. Now, tile manufacturing, I am agreeing with you until we come out of this forex issue. Right? The moment we come out of this foreign exchange crisis, there will be a lot of imported tiles once again. Till then, tile sector is doing well. So this is the risk. Either you must go into tile sector and get out immediately before forex issue is settled. Okay. Now, do you think that issue will be there forever? No, I don't. The moment COVID vapors out of this world, tourism will be a blooming and booming one. Very soon, Sri Lanka will be a tourist destination, then we'll be getting more dollars. Our foreign remittance once again would be slightly better. With that, we will allow foreign tiles back, imported tiles back. Till then, that's good one. When you select IT and telecommunication sector, my dear, that's an area where you have to continuously spend on capital investments. You have to continuously improve on technology. Means what? The out of the profit that you make this year, you have to once again reinvest heavily on next year. Otherwise, you can't survive in this industry. Contrast to that, think about plantation sector. Once this fertilizer issue is over, plantation sector is like a cash cow. Why? You don't have any other land to invest for plantation sector. The land is not growing. The other very good is power sector. Renewable energy powers. What are they? Hydropower. The generators with the waterfalls, near waterfalls like Panasia Power, Hemas Power. Then you have Valuable Power Ratna. And the latest addition is Windforce. Windforce is basically on windmills. Right? They are very good to invest. Right? But if you go for sector funds, risk is very high. Okay. Now the beauty of doing exam papers, past papers, you will come to know certain areas where we may have missed in our class, certain new things which you can add. Now you know another type of funds. Right. Now the question that you cannot answer. Unit trust can be broadly classified into two categories. Name and briefly explain them. Yes, there are two main categories. One is called open-ended, the other is closed-ended. Note down two main categories of unit trusts. Write down two main categories of unit trusts. Number one, open-ended funds. Number two, closed-ended funds. So there are two types, open-ended funds and closed-ended funds. Then we'll once again take open-ended funds. So as the name suggests, open-end means I can go to the fund, invest now, and come back at any time. Okay? Write down, open-ended funds are funds open-ended funds are funds where investors can enter where investors can enter or exit. Enter or exit. Open-ended funds are funds where investors can enter or exit at any given time. At any given time. Okay, so I can buy units at any time and I can sell units at any time and get out of the fund. Continue. There is no restriction on there is no restriction on there is no restriction on the number of units to be issued. There is no restriction on the number of units to be issued. There is no restriction on number of units to be issued, and fund has no maturity. And fund has no maturity. Okay, so open-ended funds, the investor can enter or exit in his own free will. There is no maturity date for the fund. Okay? And write down. The units are purchased from and sold. The units are purchased from and sold the units are purchased from and sold to the fund management company. To the fund management company. Okay, so open-ended means what? The investor can invest and come out at any given time. The fund has no maturity. The units are sold to and purchased from fund management company. Number 2, closed-ended funds. Closed-ended fund, CLOSC, close-ended funds. Closed-ended funds are funds that carry a maturity date. Closed-ended funds are funds that carry a maturity date. That has a maturity date. Okay, so there is a maturity date. Open-ended, no maturity. At any time you can enter, at any time you can get out. Write down. The fund management company. The fund management company will open these funds. Will open these funds to the prospective investors. The fund management company will open these funds to the prospective investors the fund management company will open these funds to the prospective investors for the subscription for a specific period of time. For a specific period of time. So it is like an IPO where we issue a prospectus, a booklet, read it, and we give investors a specific time to decide and invest. Jet holding was the latest. In the same manner, closed-ended funds, there's a maturity date, and the fund management company will make available to subscribers for a specific time period. Within that, you have to buy the units. Full stop. At the end of the subscription period, at the end of the subscription period, at the end of the subscription period, the fund management company will close the fund for any new subscription. At the end of the subscription period, the fund management company will close the fund for any new subscription. Close the fund for any new subscription. Full stop. Investors who have subscribed investors who have subscribed for these funds investors who have subscribed for these funds cannot exit anytime they wish anytime they wish anytime they wish unless the fund is listed in an exchange unless the fund is listed in an exchange. Okay, so this fund is not an open-ended fund. Open-ended one you can buy and sell at any given time. Here there's a subscription period. After that you can't enter, you can't exit. If it's a listed one, then you can sell it in the open market and exit. But if it's not a listed one in a stock exchange, then you will not be able to exit until maturity. Okay. Now in Sri Lanka, you have NAMAL, National Asset Management Limited. There's a fund. These kind of funds are listed, so you can exit. If the fund is listed in exchange, okay, write down. If the fund is listed in an exchange, if the fund is listed in an exchange, if the fund is listed in an exchange, existing investors can sell their units. Existing investors can sell their units. In these funds, in the market, at the market price, at the market price, and new investors can purchase. And new investors can purchase. Okay, so in open-ended one, you can enter and you can exit. That's at your free will. If it's a closed-ended, there is an entry period. That is the subscription time. After that, you can't enter. You can't exit if the fund is not listed. If the fund is listed, then you can sell the fund, sell the units you have, and when you exit, someone can enter. That is the only mechanism. Okay, right. Then I'll take another paper. Right. So this paper is March 2016. I'm not going through the entire paper. What I want to show is when you are doing past papers, you will see lot of repetitions and some new additions. Right. Now you got one new addition. What is that? What are the two types of unit trusts? When you ask what are the 5 types, what are 5 different examples, now you know that. But broad 2 types today we discussed. Number 3 in 2016 March. You did not write the entire thing. Unit trusts which were introduced to Sri Lanka in the early 90s have grown in popularity as an alternative investment tool. Number 1, what is a unit trust? That's a repeated question, you know that. Describe 3 main benefits of unit trusts. Yes, you know that. Where are the funds raised by unit trusts invested in by unit trust management companies? Okay, something new. Tell me the answer. Where are the funds raised? In the chat box, you can just type, where are the funds raised by unit trusts invested in by unit trust management companies? Where do they invest? Quickly, type in the chat box. Unit trusts management companies, where do they invest your money? Stocks, in government securities, in money market, in bonds, government securities, right? That's it. That's the answer. Okay, so I'll just look into the model answer. Let's see. That is number 3. Listed equities, gilt-edged securities, money market, fixed income securities, real estate, commodities. Okay, so you can add real estates, commodities. When I showed you the Norwegian Petroleum Fund, I showed you they have invested in real estates. And commodities like petrol, you can invest in gold, silver, commodities. Okay. Then the last question under that, name the regulatory authority of unit trust management companies in Sri Lanka and briefly explain the regulatory role. Right. Who is the regulator of unit trusts? You know that? Type me the answer. SEC. Then the regulatory role. I think I have given that. I'll read it out. Regulatory role. Number 1, grant a license to operate a unit trust. I have again and again told you, all the regulators enjoy number 1, granting a license. Then number 2, you can say, yeah, what is that? Suspending or canceling a license. Number 3, grants approval for the trustee of a unit trust. Trustee, you give the approval. Issue terms and conditions to the unit trust company. Monitor the unit trust operations and check all professional and organizations involved. Okay, a common answer for any regulator. Then again, March 2017, you have questions on unit trusts. That's question number 7. Means what? Unit trusts is a popular question among past papers. 20 marks, 1 complete area. Okay. Once again, I'll read out. Unit trusts were introduced to Sri Lanka in 1980s to provide an alternative investment for the people of Sri Lanka to the benefit from the capital market. There are many unit trusts available in Sri Lanka, and investment in unit trust is a popular mode of investment among many passive individual investors, almost like what we read earlier. Describe what is a unit trust and how does it operate. You know that. Describe 4 benefits. One paper 2 benefits, another paper 3 benefits, this one 4 benefits. What are the main sources of return to investors in a unit trust? Answer that. What are the main sources of return to investors in a unit trust? You invest in a unit trust, what do you get? We talked about them. Dividends, and there's another one. Dividend, I agree. Capital gains. Very good. Let's see the model answer. 7.3. The return from collective investment portfolio comprises of 2 elements, capital gains and dividends. And that's described. Good. Then number 4. Sometimes there are questions you have to think and answer. What measures have been taken by policymakers to popularize unit trust among the local as well as foreign investors? What are the measures? Okay. So the answer, measures to popularize unit trusts in cities outside Colombo, create awareness of the benefit of unit trust and introduce wide distribution channels. Tax concessions given. Okay, so you have only 2 answers, educating, tax benefits. Okay, right. So this is how the model answers are set. 1 main topic area, maybe insurance. Next week, we'll take another main area. Today, we talked about unit trust. When we are doing that, sometimes we may find certain areas which are not discussed in the class is appearing. Sometimes in different words. Sometimes you have to think. Sometimes on a current situation. Okay, but 3 questions are definitely from what we have so far discussed. 1 may be out. Therefore, we have to do past papers as well. Okay, right. Thank you. Next week, once again on Saturday, we will meet.